all in the game.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Big John. Welcome to It's All in the Game. So today, I got a good one for you guys. You know, the last few days, last few videos, I've been talking a lot about what's been going on in the country, the social unrest, the riots regarding the George Floyd murder. A lot of what I talk about in general has to do with criminal justice reform and the way that communities interact with law enforcement. So I have a great idea, and it's not a completely original idea, but it's just been something I've been thinking about. A great way to end these riots and end this social unrest and really turn over a new leaf in how law enforcement and communities, both communities of color, you know, white communities, rural, city, any community in the country, how they deal with law enforcement, okay? And that is civilian review boards. Now, civilian review board is not a new idea. They have civilian review boards in New York City, and what that is it's, you know, a group of people who are independent from the police department that kind of offer oversight to law enforcement. But the idea I have here, what I'd like to see implemented, is something more comprehensive. All right, what I'd like to see happen is a two-part plan. The first part is very simple, and that's mandated body cameras on every cop in America. Sheriffs, state, city, it doesn't matter. If you're a law enforcement officer, you're wearing a body camera, and those body cameras cannot be turned off. It's not that they are not allowed to turn them off, but they're body cameras that they don't have the ability to turn off. They come in for their shift, they grab a two-way radio, and they grab a body camera to put on their thing, and as soon as they put it on, it's active, and it just runs throughout their whole shift. They cannot turn it off, okay? So that's very simple. The second part is civilian review, and the way I'd like to see this happen is every single department and every single precinct in the country has an independent civilian review board. And the way it would work is this. Each civilian review board would have maybe one or two full-time employees. Those employees would not have anything to do specifically with actually having oversight of the police department. They would just make sure they would keep all the cases organized, and they would present each case to the actual review board. The review board would be civilians from the community that these police patrol, that these police work in. So a cop from a certain precinct in a big city works in a certain community. It would be those community members that would be working on the review board. A review board would be picked like a jury is picked, like jury duty. They would send out a notice. They would randomly choose maybe 3 or 4 or 5 people that would have to come in once or twice a week, work a whole day, maybe work 2 days, once or twice a week. Obviously, there'd be ways out of that. You wouldn't be expected to miss work. Maybe you would be, I don't know, you have to work it out. People would at least be paid adequately, be paid well for their service. They would come in and they would be presented with the cases, and they would have to make decisions on them. So they would act as oversight for the police. So any case that there was any use of force, anytime a gun was drawn, anytime a taser was used or drawn, anytime anybody complains, all of these cases would have oversight. And the civilian review board would have the ability to look at these cases based on different things. Just like in the New York City civilian review board, there would be a excessive force category, an abuse of power category, and there would be a category for being unprofessional. So that's like cussing somebody out, just acting in a way that police should not be acting, that's unprofessional. And the civilians, so there's again like 4, 5, 6 people from a community that are going to be doing this once a week. They're only going to have to do it once. It's going to be a different group of people each time that are reviewing these cases, and they'd have the opportunity to look at these cases and, you know, either look at them and say there's no issue here, this is not an issue of guilt, this police was acting like he was supposed to, he was justified in acting as he did, or if he wasn't, they could use a point scale related to the severity of the offense. Say the most severe offense would, you know, get 4 points, and the least severe offense would get 1 in between. And every law enforcement officer in the nation would have, just like our driving record, you can have points. If they get a certain amount of points, they get suspended. They get a certain amount of points, they get fired. For certain offenses, if you have an offense where you get 2 or 3 points, you might get some kind of reprimand or something, but have a very static system worked out. And if the police have a record of doing this, they get, 12 points, 15 points over the course of their career, or over the course of a year or something like that. They lose their job and they're done. They are no longer police. And if the Civilian Review Board looks at a case and they see it and they think it looks criminal, there would be a three-part process for that. There would be two attorneys. One of them would be a city prosecutor. They would show the case to the prosecutor and see if he thinks it looks criminal. They would show the case to a randomly chosen defense attorney in that city. So just like civilians, defense attorneys would have an obligation in this country to look at cases periodically if the review board thought that it looked like something that was criminal. So there'd be a defense attorney that was looking at it to determine if they thought it was criminal. There'd be a prosecutor to look at it if they thought it was criminal. And the third part, every single time a review board saw a case that they believed was criminal, it would go to all local and state media outlets, so that there would be public oversight too if something looked criminal. So, I think a process like this would really balance. It would provide oversight to law enforcement, because right now law enforcement has no oversight and they feel like they can do whatever the fuck they want to in our communities, and they hold little value for people's lives, they hold less value for people's opinions, and this would change that. This would inherently change that. I think this is a great idea, y'all. Probably not perfect. I'm sure it could use a little, tinkering with to fix it. This is just something I've been thinking about the last few days, but I think this is a really great idea. Help me make this video go viral. Help more people see this. Share this stuff, share this content, spread it, share it. And if you think this is a good idea, I'm going to provide some addresses for you below. Write your local representatives, write your state representatives, your congressmen, your lawmakers. If this is something we could implement on a national level, it would help create a lot more public trust for law enforcement, which is what needs to happen. The public needs to trust law enforcement again, and law enforcement should be out there doing the job that they really should be doing. They shouldn't be out there, making people feel uncomfortable or making people feel like they can't go out in public, or that they should be afraid because of their skin color. This would go a long way to foster some public trust. So if you agree with me, please share this. Please, please, please tell people about this. Share this video. I think this is a good idea and could go a long ways to some really, really positive change, y'all. All right, take care of yourselves, you guys. Take care of your loved ones. We live in some really perilous times right now. Try to make a step if you can. Do whatever you can to help move things in the right direction. Much love. If you like this content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to build something here, you guys. Big John told you so. It's all in the game.